Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4, and we're going to be talking about customer-driven features. These are the features that are driven directly from you, our end consumer. And from the very beginning, we've listened to you, whether it's been through our Facebook channel, or whether it's been through RV shows, or even through plant tours when you guys come in here daily. We're listening, always trying to deliver the best product. Some of those key features we've done from the very beginning: soft close toilet, larger and bigger air conditioners. We've added flush floor kitchen slides, carpetless RVs, all things that we've done because of you, the end consumer. Thanks for taking some time to watch this episode.
Hey guys, you just heard from Coley talking about customer-driven features here at Alliance RV, and just wanted to expand on that a little bit. You know, when we think about customer-driven features, it's really part of our DNA. One of our core values is relentless improvement. And one of the ways that we relentlessly improve our product is by listening to our customers. We think that some of the best ideas out there come from the people that are in these RVs, that are using them daily. And just want to talk about a couple that have found their way into our products. Carpet. You won't find a thread of carpet anywhere in our coach. And that really was driven from the feedback from customers. And that feedback being that carpet's hard to clean. It attracts pet hair and odors. Linoleum is certainly more functional than carpet, and that's why we've decided to incorporate strictly smooth surface in all of our coaches. Another one was the AC system. These big fifth wheels, especially if you think about Paradigm and Valor, those are large RVs. They can extend up to 40 feet, and a lot of our allies we know go into warm weather climates on Arizona and Florida and Texas. And having ACs that are super efficient is important. So you'll notice in a lot of our ACs, where it makes sense, we directly dump into the coach. So we remove the ducting up in the attic, which happens to be the warmest part of the RV, and we directly dump that cool air into the coach. And that, again, was driven from RVers suggesting, hey, why don't you guys look at that concept? So I think we'll learn more about some of the customer-driven features, but just wanted to highlight those two in particular. So let's take a minute and hear from Bill to learn how we decide what customer-driven features make sense to incorporate into our rigs.
From our very earliest days at Alliance, we were getting feedback from owners of all different brands of RVs. Keep in mind, we haven't even built a coach yet, but we're taking this in, we're absorbing it. So we're getting all these great ideas and thoughts, and you start to hear common threads of, hey, why don't you do this? Or why do manufacturers do this? And as we were applying, we're getting more of that. So now what do you do with this? How do you implement it? Well, we have a laundry list of items. We built the coach for what we were hearing from thousands of different RVers, not what myself or other people within our company wanted, but what RVers themselves were wanting. So with all this customer feedback, we kept hearing about air conditioners not performing. So we took a challenge there. We met with the air conditioner suppliers in our industry, and we said, hey, what do we do? How do we get good cooling performance? And they said, well, you want to duct your ACs because that's what brand X is doing. That's what brand Y is doing, and they're selling well. But we said, what performs the best? Well, they would say non-ducted, but you want to do what the other guys are doing to be competitive. So we kept challenging that trend. We're hearing that feedback of how do we get the best performance, which they would all admit that non-ducted was the way to go. So at the end of the day, we were able to find a way. And I'll tell you, when we first launched our product, we had non-ducted air conditioners on there. And the initial response from some of our dealers and consumers was, oh my goodness, that's different than the industry. You're going to want to change that. Well, I'll tell you what, here we are several years later. And when it comes into what coach are you going to plug in a dealership's lot, Alliance is typically the one they do, because you're going to find that we have better cooling performance than almost anybody else out there. So another innovation that came from owners of different brands of RVs was from our Facebook page. We had several people posting questions of, why is there always a 2-inch lip in front of the stove? When you're trying to cook, it creates an awkward position where you have 1 foot up, 1 foot down, just a weird transition. RV manufacturers for years have had flush floor living room, dining room slides, but the kitchen always seemed to have a lip. Taking this information, we went over our engineering team and said, why don't we do this? And their answer was, I don't know. So you know what? Next thing we did, we found a way to make it a flush floor, so now you don't have that awkward transition in front of the stove. Again, as far as I know, Alliance is one of the first manufacturers to introduce that into the fifth wheel market. Wiring is another hot topic, if you will, that we've heard from a number of RVers. They can never find what wire goes where, asking manufacturers for schematics, and everyone's simply saying, we don't have them. Well, Alliance took that information, and what we did, inside our converter panel, we actually used color-coded and numbered 12-volt wiring system. So with this, we actually have a wiring guide on the inside of your converter panel. So now that I know awning lights have an orange-white number 1 wire used throughout the coach for that awning. But we've tried to make it simpler for service needs and for if you want to add anything or modify your coach. We've made it easier for you. One of the things that I'm most proud of is the foundation that we build our coach on. In all of our history, one of the things that we were hearing from owners of big fifth wheels out there was issues with running gear, whether it was springs breaking or bending, spring hangers that were bent or had snapped. We all knew what the field fixes were for those, but why was no manufacturer implementing that out of the gate from day one? Well, at Alliance, we had that opportunity, and our running gear system has been amazing from the first coach we ever built. We did things like added V-brackets inside your spring hangers here. And to date, I'm not aware of one failure we've had on those. We upgraded to a Super G tire, which is actually 4,400 pound rated rather than 4,080 pounds, which is your typical G range tire. We also upgraded our suspension springs. We use 4,000 pound springs instead of the standard 3,500 that you're going to typically see on the larger Valor and Paradigm type competitors. So again, at the end of the day, it was all about providing a great foundation to build a great coach on top of. Thanks for joining us, and more importantly, for being such a big factor in helping to drive what our product becomes with your feedback. If any of you ever want to provide feedback to us, we're pretty easily accessible, myself, our other founders of the company, even on Facebook. You can email info@alliancerv.com. But we want to hear your feedback. We're always watching, we're listening, we're at shows, willing to engage you as a consumer and hear what your thoughts are. Have a great day, everyone. You ever feel like you're spinning your wheels and going nowhere?